Passenger. Sit still, boy. Don't bother anyone. The boy flinches, eyes darting up from his comic. Boy. I'm not bothering anyone. A hush ripples through nearby passengers. Phones lowered, magazines paused, murmurs fading. Mother, whispering. Please, just calm down. The antagonist leans forward, a smirk tugging at the corner of his mouth, fingers tapping the armrest. Antagonist. You think you belong here? Maybe this seat was meant for someone else. The boy's hand tightens around the comic, pages crumpling slightly. He swallows. A quiet fire building. Narration. He had learned early that anger carried weight, but silence preserved him. Every stare was a choice. Every breath a test. Flight attendant approaches hesitantly, eyes flicking between them. Flight attendant. Sir? Please keep your hands to yourself. Antagonist. I'm keeping him in line. You worry too much. The mother shifts, her voice trembling but firm. This is a child. That's enough. A stranger 2 rows down moves slightly in his seat, posture shifting, calm but deliberate. Eyes narrowing, he studies the antagonist, measuring tension. Stranger, softly, almost to himself. This isn't right. Not here. Narration. He had waited, watched, and calculated. Quiet restraint had its own strength. He knew one move could change everything, without raising a voice. Passenger nearby leans back, whispering, should someone say something? Another, better not. He's volatile. The cabin hums with unspoken acknowledgement. Every pair of eyes split between fear and silent expectation. Narration. The air held a fragile balance, every heartbeat stretched. A single choice could tip it. A single word could ignite what had been held too long. Passenger. Hey, what was that for? Antagonist. He needs to learn some respect. Sit still. Boy. I wasn't moving. Mother. Stop it. That's enough. He's just a child. The cabin falls into a tense hush. Phones hover mid-air, magazines closed, passengers frozen between fear and curiosity. Narration. Every eye followed the crack of authority. A slap became louder than words. The boy's small frame didn't tremble, but inside, the walls of patience stretched thinner with each stare. Stranger. You don't get to do that. Antagonist. Excuse me? Stranger leans slightly, voice calm, precise. The words slice through the oppressive air. Antagonist. Mind your own business, old man. Narration. He measured restraint like armor. The threat wasn't in the voice, but in the stillness that followed, thick enough to choke entitlement. Mother clutches her son's hand. Please, just breathe. Nearby passenger whispers, should we report him? Another. Better not. He's dangerous. Antagonist shifts, unease flickering across his face. His arrogance trembles for a fraction of a second. Boy. I don't understand why he hates me. Narration. The question hung heavier than any slap. Silence became louder than confrontation, exposing the cracks no shouting could reach. Stranger. Because it's never been about you. It's about what he thinks he owns. The antagonist clenches his jaw, hands tightening, realizing the public attention is no longer just passive observation. Narration. The air between them is taut, waiting. A single move, a single word, could tip the cabin from passive silence into decisive action, and someone would speak. Stranger, softly. You shouldn't touch a child like that. Antagonist, turning slightly, face tight. Mind your own business. Narration. He had seen this before. Entitlement hiding behind bravado. Years of watching people bow, shrink, stay silent. He wouldn't let it happen here. Stranger. It is my business when someone is afraid in their own seat. The boy glances up. Eyes wide but steady, gripping the comic like armor. Mother, whispering. Thank you. Antagonist's jaw twitches. You think you can lecture me? On my flight? Stranger leans slightly forward, calm, voice unwavering. I'm not lecturing. I'm stopping harm. Narration. Silence became louder than confrontation. Every passenger could feel it. Tension coiled around the cabin like a held breath, waiting for a spark. Passenger beside the antagonist shifts uneasily. Maybe sit down, sir?" Antagonist scoffs but hesitates, noticing all eyes subtly turning toward him. Stranger, almost a whisper. "You've already lost your power. Notice it or not, it's gone." Narration. Decades of moral resolve, held in quiet restraint, radiated from him. The boy felt it too. The invisible shield that dignity can create, stronger than anger. The boy straightens slightly, shoulders back. "I'm not scared." Antagonist flinches at the words, an unspoken crack forming in his composure. Mother exhales softly, relief mingling with disbelief. Flight attendant watches from the aisle, tension etched on her face, unsure whether to intervene or let the moment unfold. Narration. The cabin shifted imperceptibly. Fear began to fold in on itself. Quiet courage had arrived, and with it a first fragile sense of justice. Boy, quietly, "He's still staring at me." Mother, "Just breathe. Don't react." Antagonist leans forward, nostrils flaring, voice low. "Don't think you can hide behind him." Stranger shifts in his seat. Subtle, deliberate, eyes narrowing. Narration. Every muscle in the cabin tightened. It wasn't the slap or the words that held weight. It was the pause, the waiting, the electricity of expectation. Nearby passenger whispers, Should we call someone?" Another shakes their head, uneasy. "Better not, just watch." Antagonist. "You think you're protecting him?" "No one protects anyone here but me." Stranger, soft, calm. "Power doesn't belong to those who abuse it." Narration. He measured restraint like a shield. One wrong move and the moment could erupt. Yet he held it, silent, precise, undeniable. Boy glances at the stranger. Small nod. "Thank you." Mother exhales, tight-lipped. "You don't have to do this alone." Antagonist's hand tightens on the armrest, knuckles white. "You don't know who you're dealing with." Stranger. "I know exactly who I'm dealing with." And it ends here. Narration. The cabin seemed suspended, breath held collectively. Every eye watched, every heart raced, and the antagonist realized resistance was no longer optional, and no one would look away this time. Flight attendant hovers, uncertain whether to intervene or allow the moral tide to take its course. Passenger murmurs, "It's happening." Antagonist swallows hard, eyes flicking from the boy to the stranger. A faint tremor runs through him, almost imperceptible. Narration. In that single, taut moment, the balance shifted. The reckoning hadn't begun yet, but it was already inevitable. Boy, whispering to himself, "Not again." Mother glances at him, voice soft. "It's okay, honey." "You're safe now." Narration. Memories slipped in like shadows. The teacher who ignored his questions. The clerk who sighed when he approached the counter. Strangers who averted their eyes. All lessons in shrinking, in silence. Boy, why do they always look at me like that? Mother, they don't see you, not really. Just what they assume. Passenger nearby mutters quietly. I've seen this before. It never ends. Narration. Every microaggression, each dismissive glance, had shaped him. A constant calibration of when to speak, when to stay invisible. The cabin felt like another classroom, the antagonist's sneer a recurring lesson in fear and endurance. Boy, to himself, tighter grip on comic. I won't. Stranger leans forward slightly, whispering almost imperceptibly. You've done nothing wrong. Remember that. Narration. The weight of decades of small injustices pressed quietly, teaching vigilance. But it also carved a resilience the world hadn't anticipated, a dignity unshaken even in fear. Mother, look at me. You are stronger than they think. Antagonist shifts in his seat, muttering under his breath, oblivious to the layers he's stepping into. Why does he even talk back? Stranger, calm, piercing. Because you mistake fear for weakness. Narration. In that suspended moment, the past met the present. The boy's history of silent endurance clashed with the arrogance before him. Every glance, every quiet whisper echoed with lessons no slap could erase. Flight attendant exhales, uncertain. This tension, it's not right. Narration. And somewhere in the hum of engines, a subtle shift began. The invisible walls of entitlement starting to crack. Antagonist, smirking, leaning back. Some people just overreact. Can you believe this? Passenger beside him mutters quietly. Overreact? He just hit a child. Antagonist waves a hand dismissively. It's a child. They need discipline. Don't make this bigger than it is. Stranger's eyes never leave him. Calm, deliberate. Discipline doesn't mean fear. You're confusing power with entitlement. Narration. His arrogance filled the cabin, thick and palpable. Each scoff, each careless glance was a signal of control. But it trembled under the stranger's quiet observation. Antagonist, leaning closer. Voice low but sharp. And you think you're better than me? Sitting there judging? Stranger, soft, unwavering. I don't think. I know. Power isn't measured by who you push around, mother whispers to her son. Stay calm. Don't give him any reason. Boy grips his comic tighter but lifts his chin slightly. I'm not afraid. Narration. Every motion of the antagonist betrayed the slow erosion of certainty. The scoffs, the casual gestures, the eye rolls, all cracks in the facade of control. Flight attendant hovers, tension visible. Sir, please remain seated. Antagonist. I'm fine, just some people need to learn their place. Stranger leans slightly forward, voice almost a whisper. And sometimes people need to see the truth, even if it's uncomfortable. Narration. The cabin hummed with unsaid judgments. Passengers shifted, noticing the imbalance, the quiet courage against blatant arrogance. For the first time, entitlement felt fragile and control no longer absolute. Passenger mutters, he's sweating. Finally. Antagonist's jaw tightens, a flicker of doubt crossing his eyes. Narration. The air changed imperceptibly. Tension stretched, poised for the moment when silence would snap, and justice would assert itself without a shout. Passenger, whispering, tense. Should we call someone? Flight attendant glances around, hesitation in her eyes. I'll handle it. Just give me a moment. Mother leans toward her son, voice low. Stay calm. Don't let him see fear, boy, quiet, almost to himself. Why does he hate me? Stranger shifts slightly in his seat, voice measured. Because ignorance mistakes courage for defiance, and entitlement mistakes patience for weakness. Narration. Every whispered word and cautious glance revealed the invisible chains of moral paralysis. The passengers knew the wrong being done, yet hesitation reigned, a quiet testament to systemic failure. Antagonist, sneering, loud enough for a few to hear. Look at them. Frozen. None of you will act. Passenger mutters under breath. It's not right. Someone should... Flight attendant, barely audible. We're trained to de-escalate. But what if it's too late? Stranger leans forward just enough to meet the boy's eyes. He thrives on silence. But silence isn't ours to give. Mother tense. Remember, eyes forward. No sudden moves. Narration. The cabin's hum carried the weight of inaction. Hesitation became its own language, a reflection of social complicity, where fear and decorum overpowered immediate justice. Boy takes a shallow breath, gripping his comic tighter, lips pressed. I won't let him see me break. Antagonist chuckles darkly, not noticing the subtle shift around him. They all fold eventually. You'll see, stranger quietly with sharp calm. Not everyone. Some of us stand, even when no one else does. Narration. In these murmurs and hesitations, the first fractures began to form. Observation replaced ignorance. Small glances exchanged, subtle nods, seeds of resistance quietly planted before the storm. Stranger, quietly to himself. Steady. One step at a time, boy glances up, unsure. Are you going to stop him? Stranger shifts slightly, placing his hand subtly on the armrest between them. Not yet. But I won't let him touch you again. Narration. The cabin felt impossibly tight. Each passenger sensed the silent barrier forming, a shield built not with anger, but with measured presence. The antagonist had yet to realize the calm defiance facing him. Antagonist, mocking, leaning back. What's this? A babysitter now? Stranger, voice low, unwavering. Call it awareness. Something you clearly lack. Mother whispering, voice shaking. Please. Just keep him calm. Boy grips the comic book tighter, whispering, I'm scared. Stranger, softly. You don't have to be. Not while I'm here, passenger murmurs, glancing at the stranger. He's not moving. Just standing there? Flight attendant, tense, whispering to colleague, I think he's... Stopping it before it starts. Antagonist notices the subtle block, his voice harder. Move! I said move! Stranger leans in, calm but firm. I'm not moving. This ends if it has to, but not here, not now. Narration. Every slight adjustment, every steady breath became a quiet act of resistance. The antagonist's confidence wavered, though he masked it with sneers. Around them, passengers felt the shift. Silent approval, muted tension, a prelude to reckoning. Boy exhales, tentative but relieved. Thank you. I think? Stranger nods, voice almost a whisper. Courage doesn't need loudness. It only needs standing. Narration. The cabin held its breath. In the quiet, a line had been drawn. One man's restraint had become a shield, and the first cracks in entitlement were already forming. Antagonist, voice cracking, forcing a laugh. This is ridiculous. Step back! Stranger, calm, eyes steady. No, this stops here. You can't bully anyone anymore, passenger whispering to neighbor. He's not moving. Just standing there? Neighbor murmuring. It's like... Someone finally drew a line. Antagonist, hands trembling slightly. I don't know what you think this is. Stranger interrupts, soft but firm. It's reality. You're accountable now. Flight attendant, stepping closer cautiously. Sir, please, calm down. Boy, voice small but defiant. Why did you hit me? Antagonist swallows, looking around as cameras flash from phones. I didn't. Narration. The hum of the cabin shifted into a chorus of attention. Murmurs swelled, whispers punctuated by the flash of phones. Entitlement that once seemed untouchable now trembled under scrutiny. Each silent judgment from fellow passengers became a weight pressing down, unraveling arrogance in real time. Stranger leans slightly forward, not aggressive, just present. See? People notice. Actions have consequences. Antagonist, voice faltering. You can't do this! Here! Stranger quietly. I'm not doing anything, you are. The world is just noticing now, mother whispering, tears in her eyes. Thank you for standing there. Narration. The space itself seemed charged. Each step forward or sideways by the antagonist met with collective awareness. Even the crew, previously hesitant, began to relax in the presence of moral certainty. Justice did not shout. It manifested in steadiness, in eyes meeting eyes, in silent witnessing, passenger whispering, he's shrinking. He doesn't know what to do. Stranger nods once, eyes on the boy. Courage doesn't roar. It stands. Narration. And in that standing, the first ripple of systemic accountability began, subtle yet undeniable, as entitlement met the immovable calm of quiet justice. Stranger, voice calm, almost a whisper. Respect doesn't need raising voices. It needs standing up, antagonist, gulping, face flushing, stammering. You don't understand. This isn't fair. Flight attendant softly, holding back fear. Sir, please, just step back. You've gone too far. Boy, looking at the stranger, whispering, He's shrinking. I think it's over. Narration. The room seemed to hold its breath. No dramatic gestures, no shouting, only the weight of presence. Each passenger's eyes bore silent witness. The antagonist's arrogance, once towering, now flickered, a candle in wind. Justice had arrived without clamor, carried on quiet certainty. Passenger whispering to neighbor, He's sweating. He can't even meet their eyes. Neighbor, trembling slightly. It's strange, he's powerful, but now, nothing. Antagonist, muttering, voice cracking. I don't. What do you want from me? Stranger, steady. For you to see. See that people notice. See that your actions matter. Mother, quietly, relief in her tone. Thank you for standing there. Narration. No one clapped. No one cheered. The victory was silent, moral authority prevailing where loudness often fails. Cameras recorded, phones clicked, but the essence of justice was the stillness, the measured restraint, the dignity restored. Antagonist, shoulders slumping, defeated. Stranger, nodding slightly, eyes on the boy. Courage isn't about shouts. It's about standing when the world whispers. Narration. And so, amidst flashing cameras and murmuring onlookers, quiet justice unfolded. The boy reclaimed his space, the oppressor collapsed internally, and the cabin, the airport, the collective gaze of witnesses held a subtle, enduring truth. Dignity had prevailed. Flight attendant whispering to another, "Did you see?" He didn't even argue, just froze. Passenger, quiet, glancing at their phone. The video's already online. People are sharing it, everywhere. Narration? The hum of the terminal felt different. Whispers replaced the usual chatter, glances sharpened, and invisible lines of accountability were drawn. The antagonist, once untouchable, now moved carefully, aware of every eye on him. Antagonist, muttering under breath, This can't be happening. I have connections." Colleague stiff, stepping aside. "Sir, perhaps we should give him some space. People are watching." Stranger, to the boy, softly. "It's not about vengeance. It's about presence. Standing firm changes more than words ever could." Boy, nodding, voice low. I can breathe now." Narration. The ripple extended beyond the cabin. Airline staff whispered in corners. The public's attention weighed heavily, and even the most complacent bystanders felt the subtle tremor of accountability. Privilege, once protected by silence, began to crack. Passenger, quietly. "Look at him. He's shrinking with every step." Security officer murmuring, "We'll need to file a report." It's already gone viral. The footage. It speaks for itself. Antagonist, voice trembling, almost inaudible. What happens now?" Stranger, nodding once, calm. "Now you witness, you learn, and maybe quietly, you change." Narration. No cheers erupted, no public shaming in theatrics, yet the impact was unmistakable. Observers shifted, colleagues whispered, and the moral weight of restraint, combined with courage, carved a subtle but undeniable justice. Dignity, once threatened, had quietly reclaimed its space. Boy, whispering to himself, "It's over. I think it's finally over." Stranger, placing a gentle hand on the boy's shoulder. "You held your ground. That's more than most ever do." Boy, glancing up, voice quiet. I didn't know I could." Stranger, nodding softly. Sometimes it's the quietest actions that echo the loudest. Narration. The airport felt different now. Chairs once full of indifferent faces held subtle recognition, the hum of conversations laced with whispers of awareness. A wave of small deliberate shifts in posture and attention spread through those present. Courage, uncelebrated but undeniable, had taken root. Flight attendant murmuring to a colleague, "They're reviewing protocols. Already. I saw the notice." Colleague quietly, "It's not just rules, it's awareness. People are thinking differently now." Boy, a soft smile breaking. "It feels lighter, not just me. Everyone, I think they're noticing." Stranger, voice low, reflective. "Change isn't loud," it whispers. In choices, in watching, in standing without shouting. Passenger nearby, half to themselves. I saw everything, and I'll remember. Next time, narration. The cameras continued to roll, but their purpose had shifted. They no longer captured humiliation, they recorded accountability. The antagonist moved cautiously, muted, aware of eyes that now weighed more than authority ever could. Policies were reconsidered, conversations began in hushed corridors, and systemic cracks, once ignored, became undeniable. Boy, whispering again, "It's strange. Victory can feel so quiet." Stranger, nodding once, eyes scanning the cabin. "That's the point. Quiet courage lasts longer. Loud anger fades. Remember that." Narration. Change doesn't announce itself with fanfare. It arrives in restraint, in the moral courage of those willing to witness, and in the dignity of standing firm when the world expects silence.